Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. This is Yonks, and this is our Gigs Go Green working group. And this is actually the first working group that we are focused exclusively on getting our Kickstarter campaign finalized for launching. And this is something that we've got a really tight timeline from. And it's not necessarily something that I would recommend for people as far as uh, the short of time frame that we're wanting to work on, but I'm not even going to unpack that here. But also joining with me tonight, we've got Tyler, Mrs. Yonks, my superpower, and Robert. Good evening. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Got a lot of stuff to cover, so we're just going to hop right into our working group. And the tool that we use to keep track of all of our agenda and meeting notes is Notion. And let me make this, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here and make this a little bit bigger for everybody on the live stream. So one of the things that I just briefly want to touch on, and we'll actually be creating the opportunity for conversation, is most of our working groups here, while we've been refining this Gigs Go Green narrative, literally over the last 6 months, I would say. I think that we started having some conversations around this in the June or July timeframe, and that was actually in preparation for a solar EV. But we'll be having a working group next week. And that's one of the things I've got down here on the agenda. One, I just want to briefly touch on, I'm not going to break down the solar EV project details. Like I said, still needing to update this template in that section. But I do want to show our timeline here. So I'm not sure if we're going to meet the delivery as far as the January 31st. And there's an approval process or a review process that the Kickstarter team has to do before they allow a project to go live. And this isn't something that it's been literally years since I've launched a Kickstarter campaign. So I have no idea what that timeline is going to look like. The other thing that and this is something that I just touched on briefly there, is the Hero X Community Energy Innovation Prize. That's where we, again, have been spending most of our efforts in 2023 to get us to where we're at here today. And this is still a little bit of a question mark, but I'm really liking this from a timeline standpoint as a governance thing. We'll talk more about that. And I'm not going to unpack any more. That's just what is on the roadmap here in the timeline for the next couple of weeks. And that was one of the things that just talked a little bit about there, but I actually want to bring up the Web3 Freedom Club calendar. And this is what we use for those that are on the receiving end. We send out notifications via Google Calendar, and this is one of the things that we'll be enhancing here in 2023, or I guess we're in 2024 right now. So here we are today, January 27th. And this is one of the things, I think that the working group here, that's not and I'm going to actually, let's see, duplicate this, because this is what we're going to have for our Kickstarter working group. I'm going to just put Kickstarter WG number 2 here, and we'll do the let us meet for that. So, and this will be like over here on Monday or Tuesday. And again, we'll do a let us meet to see when the people that want to participate in that let us meet, for those that haven't used it, we'll be going through that process. So right now, here this next week, really planning to have 2 working groups, one to really finalize, take what we unpack here tonight, because you'll see how raw our Kickstarter is here. And this is one of the things, just wanted to have some conversations and work through, potentially get any ideas or thoughts from other people as far as our reward tiers for our Kickstarter. And then the Community Energy Innovation Prize, that again is the Hero X team that we've been working for. That's going to be on likely Wednesday or Thursday, probably Wednesday, and depending on whether we do the Kickstarter working group on Monday or Tuesday, because not, like I said, next week is going to be an absolutely busy week while we're working to finalize our Kickstarter campaign. And one of the reasons that we're wanting to have the Kickstarter campaign is so that we can include the Kickstarter being live, hopefully that we'll be able to deliver on that by our Community Energy Innovation Prize on Hero X, which is due, I think, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that would be 3 p.m. Mountain time on Friday. So we'll see how next week unpacks as far as availability from the rest of the team and all of that. So do you think, Tyler, I should actually create the Let Us Meet, or do you think should do that offline? What's your thoughts on that?
I just put it in the follow-up items and see if we've got time after we get to the agenda.
Sounds like a good idea. So we'll circle back on that. So let's hop right in here as far as the reward offerings. And before I do that, this is actually something that I wanted to bring in here. The way that we have structured Kickstarter is that Web3 Freedom Club DAO. And just to summarize how the Web3 Freedom Club DAO is functioning, we're positioning right now that is a Web3 incubator and think tank where our main goal for 2024 is to launch Gigs Go Green and the 3 synergistic cooperatives that make up Gigs Go Green. And we're planning to do our launch for the primary benefit of gig workers here in Colorado as a part of our state by state. So what I did was created Web3 Freedom Club DAO as a business profile on Kickstarter. And then I shared that to my personal Kickstarter where I can collaborate as a project administrator and collaborator. And this is just one of the things that Kickstarter has within their toolkit for creators and project founders to bring their team together to contribute. So that's one of the things that, and one of the things that I'll just plan out there as for future consideration is that we will likely be doing 2 additional Kickstarter campaigns here in 2024, with likely the next one being in April timeframe for launching House Hacking DAO, and just putting that out there to the universe because that'll become a little bit more apparent as far as that how that we're structuring some of these things here. So anyway, we're calling this project Gigs Go Green Phase 1, launching Tesla Black DAO. So like talking about looking forward there, when we launch our second campaign, that would be Phase 2. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and accept this collaboration, and hopefully that'll take me to where we can, let's see, take a minute. Got it. So this is reading their rules. Go to rewards. So these are the main tabs within, and how's this coming across? Should I make it a little bigger for everybody? I think I'm going to. Is that a little better there? I think probably. There we go. I think I like that. So this is the main, like the meat, because like the way that Kickstarter works, there's going to be 3 main crowdfunding platforms that we're using to launch Gigs Go Green. Kickstarter is a rewards-based platform. So what does that mean? So like our minimum reward is going to be a $7 newsletter, which we're going to be delivering using an NFT. And that's one of the things that we'll unpack here. So GoFundMe is another one, and that's more of a donations. Like when somebody donates to GoFundMe, they don't expect anything in return. So I already actually have my own personal Gigs Go Green GoFundMe campaign. I'm not going to show that right now because this is all about Kickstarter. And then in February, on DAO Day 2024, February 22nd, is when we're going to open up our 3rd crowdfunding opportunity, which will be an equity crowdfunding, where somebody can invest. Like when somebody backs a Kickstarter project, it's not an investment. It's like somebody exchanging money for a good or service that's like, anyway, does that, did I do a good job explaining that, Tyler, as far as the different crowdfunding things here?
Yeah, but I was familiar with them. I think that's probably a better question for Robert.
Does that make sense, Robert, as far as the 3 different crowdfunding?
Yeah, it's all kind of new to me, but keep going.
Sure. So anyway, let's actually go through and talk about the rewards. So one of the things going back to Notion here is this is some ideas that we have been talking about a little bit, and this is more details than what we've in previous conversations. So again, the minimum one that we're wanting to do, and this is actually a newsletter. I'm going to put in parentheses NFT. So the thing with an NFT is it's basically like a uh, key to unlock access the way that we're going to be structuring this. So the way that our newsletter will work, in order to view the newsletter, you'll actually have to have the NFT. And that's just a fun way that we can keep track of, because the way that we're actually wanting to set this newsletter up is a $7 a year subscription. And it'll be interesting to see who backs the Kickstarter. One of the things that's really worth noting, and I've got that actually under fulfillment here, Kickstarter is an all or nothing crowdfunding platform. So what does that mean? So that means if we set our campaign goal at 10 grand and we only raise 5 grand, then we collect nothing. So one of the other things too that's a recommended best practices by Kickstarter is to really have your campaign length be right around 30 days. So our goal here is we want this campaign to run through the conclusion of ETH Denver. This will be Tyler and myself, third year participating in ETH Denver, and ETH Denver concludes on March the 3rd. So we're wanting to give plenty of opportunity for ourselves that will be there in person, meeting very like Web3 natives or newer, more crypto friendly people. And that's I think what are they expecting, Tyler? Like 20 to 40,000 people are going to be transcending on Denver globally.
Yeah, they've got 25,000 tickets, and then I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more people that don't want to participate in the event who are just there for the side event and whatever. And I don't think that includes thousands of vendors. I mean, there's just so many people there. They run it out one of the biggest venues in the city.
Yeah, it's going to be held in person at the National Western Complex over there where they host the National Western Stock Show. So very large venue. Last year was the first time that they had held it there, and there was a lot of lessons learned. So we're expecting a better user experience. And one of the user experiences was surrounding network connectivity, because when you've got that many geeky people that are consuming network resources, whether it's on mobile devices, because the thing is that there was just so many concentration of people that even like normal mobile connectivity wasn't working well. So that was something that the ETH Denver team committed to improve upon. But anyway, we only allocated an hour for this. So let's get back to our Kickstarter rewards. So I'm going to go ahead and add in here our new reward. Add a reward. So the title is, let's just put in here, Gigs Go Green newsletter. I'm going to put in parentheses NFT. And this is going to be $7. And one of the things that I don't know if it's set up is if this is a subscription dynamic. That's one of the things that we're really wanting to have these aspects be a subscription. I don't really think that Kickstarter is set up from a fulfillment standpoint. So that's something that we'll have to bring in-house here. So this is one of the things that is a newer feature, is I think that we can actually create some images. And this is one of the things that, Tyler, that we can create some tasks for Double D to fulfill. And then if we want to potentially do, like, I really like the idea of doing a community derived like logo design or image design contest, but that's something, again, we can talk more here after we get our Kickstarter launched and just having something in place. So description optional. Let's see. Items, add all items included in this reward, new item. Let's see. I'm going to just save this right here. Save. So let me just go back here and talk about the frequency that we want on this. And the nice thing about Kickstarter is that Kickstarter is more geared for proof of concept types of products. And this is one of the things with us doing digital products is that we have a immense amount of flexibility, especially with something like a newsletter, as far as like when we can, how often that we want to do that, and when do we want to start delivering. Um, I'm really thinking that weekly is the most ideal dynamic, and Tyler can attest to how much that I love operating on a weekly basis for a lot of different things. But that's kind of my thoughts right now. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
As far as weekly benefits, or I'm not sure which part you meant.
The frequency, like how often do we want to commit to publishing? And this is one of the things, ideally, we would really love this to be a community created dynamic where this is something that we could, provide economic benefits for people contributing to creating the newsletter on an interval basis. But what's the interval basis, the frequency that we want to deliver the newsletter?
Weekly or twice a month. I mean, can you commit to weekly?
I think that we should be able to, and that's one of the things. Like I said, I really hope that we can get other people contributing. I'm going to go ahead and just strike out monthly. I think monthly is too infrequent. And for the content, I really like just focusing on we're creating a community that's for the primary benefit of gig workers and having gig workers that are having success with gigs go green. And that's something like just sharing stories or whatever. But and this is one of the things that I think that as we start to expand the community, we'll have some ideas come in. But from a content standpoint, besides member success stories, is there any other things that you can think of, Robert or Tyler, that what you would like to consume from receiving a Gigs Go Green newsletter?
Oh,
Well, I think we've got a lot just in terms of cars and real estate because we could. I mean, gigs is both. So
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up because that's one of the things that we're doing very intentionally here. Because like instead of just specifying like creating gigs go green for rideshare drivers, we already talked about this is phase one, and then phase two, we're talking about house hacking as a solution for affordable housing. So thank you for bringing in that as well. So let's get back here to items. Let's see. I don't know. Newsletter. And I'm going to put weekly for right now. Save. Will your backers know only digital goods and services? Ships to anywhere in the world. Digital reward, no shipping. Estimated delivery. So I mean, here's the thing that's also fabulous about this. From a timing standpoint, we already talked about having the Kickstarter go until March. So let's just put March of 2024 on here. This is again one of the nice things from a knob standpoint, because this Kickstarter isn't even going to end until March. I think that there would be value. And just to kind of go off on a tangent, paragraph.xyz is the platform, and I'll throw this in the Zoom chat for everybody. And I don't know if you've got the YouTube link there, Tyler, where you could throw that in on our YouTube as well. I'll throw that in the Zoom chat. But paragraph.xyz is the platform that we're planning on delivering our newsletter for. And the reason for that, let me just show you why here real quick. Unlock. So let's see. So you can see here unlock protocol, and this is actually a specific let's see, membership docs. This is what I was wanting. So this is one of the things, unlock protocol using Paragraph with unlock. So Paragraph natively supports unlock protocol NFTs. You can create an unlock protocol contract and accept recurring payments directly from your subscribers. And that's one of the things that we're wanting to do. Unlock protocol is the infrastructure or the framework that we're actually planning on doing as a component of fulfilling and then managing different member-based NFTs. And when you think about what we're creating here, is we're really wanting gigs go green and this lowest tier of rewards, the $7 tier, to reduce the barrier of entry. The one that we're most interested in is the Tesla Black DAO member NFT. But quite honestly, there's a lot of people that may love what we're doing, but maybe have no interest of actually participating in Tesla Black DAO. So this is really reducing the barriers of entry for participating within our ecosystem. So anyway, we got that created. I went off on a little bit of a segue there. So let's see, project quantity, unlimited, time limit, no limit, add-ons, save reward. Okay, so here is our weekly newsletter. And this is something that I think that if we deliver a weekly newsletter and we find out that that's too cumbersome or whatever, and we want to change direction, I really think that weekly is probably the best fit for what we're doing, quite honestly. But again, I'm a huge week by week fan. All right, so we got our base Gigs Go Green newsletter, which is an NFT. And should I specify weekly newsletter, or I think that that's good enough, right? So new reward, let's add the next one. So this is the one, and I'm actually going to curb this. This is the one that's the biggest question mark in what we're doing. I think that it's quite deliverable, and I like having a very gradual, because you look here, $7, $27, $47, $69, and $97. It gives a nice range of price points. And then the thoughts around this Web3 ebook, and this is actually, I'm going to call this, because I had a good title. Let's see, it was the 1% gig workers. I'm going to just put this stuff in Web3 ebook delivered via an NFT. I don't really have any good examples of what a Web3 ebook delivered via an NFT looks like. But the thoughts are here is that we could create a more of a compilation of some of these stories and potentially do some type of multimedia content. And that's one of the things that I'm not sure how that these member success stories will be coming in. I'm really expecting it to be multimodal on various social media platforms, potentially interviews, and then the opportunity to really compile those into a nice navigable book is kind of the thoughts on this. And again, you already saw how that we can really just kind of like put forward our expected delivery date. So kind of the thoughts that I did when was creating some of these Kickstarter rewards is that this would be and Tyler can attest to how long that I've been talking about doing some sort of Web3 based book mechanism for an NFT. And like, just to rewind, like a project that I didn't get funded that I did do in Kickstarter was a similar idea around some type of multimedia book. And this was all the way back in 2016 for another project that I was working on at the time. Does anybody want to chime in some thoughts on this Web3 ebook, or should we just go ahead and throw it in there? And then, because anyway, I'm going to stop talking.
Do we have the option to change benefits mid-campaign, or is it just once and that's it?
No, from the way that I understand Kickstarter, and again, keep in mind that this project, Kickstarter really recommends, I don't know what the duration is, but I think the most that you can run a campaign is like 60 days. So the way that I understand that it's set up is that once you get your rewards finalized and then you get your content within your project finalized, that is set in stone, because basically what you're doing is you're creating an agreement. And then the way that it works, I already talked about, it's an all or nothing situation. So this is one of the things that we also want to be strategic in architecting our campaign, because like, again, when you think about what the goal is here is to demonstrate member traction, and ideally, like I said, the main thing that we're wanting to do is onboard potential drivers, primarily here in Colorado, because that's really where we're going to be creating and tokenizing the real world assets to deliver some of these elements. But from what I understand, Tyler, when you create the rewards and you press publish, Kickstarter reviews that, your project go live, that aspect as far as the rewards and the other things are set in stone from a deliverability standpoint. I'm going to go ahead and create it. Like this is, we already talked about having a follow-up working group early next week where we can, so this will give us some time to like really marinate on things. I'm really liking this. And I think that with doing a target delivery date and kind of the thoughts around this yearly dynamic is that when you think about what we're doing, the opportunity to continue to compile stories in a package, and this is one of the things that we'll have, and part of the reason, just to let everybody know with this, and this is something that I already mentioned there, that's exactly 6 months after the planned launch of our STO. STO stands for Security Token Offering, and we're still on track. All indications are for doing our security token launch on DAO Day 2024, which is February 22nd, 2024. New reward. Let's call this I'm just going to copy and paste this. That's too long. Book. I'll just put in book. And maybe ebook. Stick out the hyphen. Ebook. 27. Image. Description. Items. So the way that going to be doing this too is that if in this rewards tier, you get pretty much everything in the previous tiers. So this is kind of like an upgrade dynamic. Hey, I saw your message in there, Robert. Thanks for hopping on here. Hopefully you'll be able to participate and think on some things in between now and our next working group. But it was great having you on here tonight, as always. Have a fun Saturday or Sunday tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
So the 1% gig workers. So let's and then the new item, and this is the 1% gig workers. Book. Say no, only digital goods, digital reward, no shipping. And August of 2024. So I'm going to just try duplicating this because I think that may make it even easier. Gigs go green, ambassador, NFT. Ambassador T. Save. And visual reward, unlimited. So this is something I'm going to change the. Well, with having the ebook in there, we should probably leave the estimated delivery of August 24th. Save. All right, so let me go back to the basics here. Start with the basics: project title, subtitle, project category, location, image, and this is something where we need another image. And this, going back to our Notion agenda as far as the marketing, I actually put one of the details here in the project video. And the question on the project video is, can we use the same Hero X Community Energy Innovation Prize submission video? And that's something that I'll spend a little bit of time contemplating as far as from a story standpoint. And the goal is to potentially do that if it makes sense. And I still think that there'll be an opportunity to create an even better project video to really summarize what is Gigs Go Green. Target launch date, campaign. So I already had all of the details set in. Next funding. So this is something, Tyler, we can have a side conversation about as far as the various costs to bring your project to life. I don't know what this looks like. I haven't seen. I think that this is a newer aspect, which is why that it's carrying the beta flag here. And as you can see, it's also optional. And I can't remember if I added you. I think I added you as a contributor here on this project. So we were already talking about the reward tiers, add-ons. Add-ons are optional. Rewards backers can add to their pledges, blah, blah, blah. Items. So here's the tiers, and I haven't added all of these. I think that that's something, looking at the time, we've got 15 minutes left. So the story, this is one of the things that I will absolutely be working on right now. There's not a story in here. This is interesting. Let's do a little bit of research on this here, Tyler. Here's the Eco Vadis. I'll throw a link in the Zoom chat, but let's research what that can mean. So Gigs Go Green is 100% focused around sustainability. So having the opportunity of doing this is interesting. So I think that this makes sense. Now we'll have to see, because it looks like complete questionnaire and select basic subscription plan. Prices start at $450. You will automatically receive a premium upgrade, a saving of over $700. And I don't know if this is something that we'll be able to deliver on here for this project. This is something that we may have to curb until phase 2. I don't think that most project creators are working on as short of a timeline that we are as far as getting a project launched. So use of AI, frequently asked questions. So this is where we can have our own frequently asked questions section. So promotion, prepare for launch, pre-launch page. And there's a project preview, Google Analytics, Metapixel, meta conversions. So this is something that we can set up from a Google Analytics and tracking standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. We still have some more detail, a substantial more amount of details to go through. And just going back to our reward tier, the two that I didn't get created yet is the Web3 onboarding workshop NFT. And we're really envisioning this to be a 2-hour session designed for DAO members with zero Web3 or blockchain experience. And this is really the only reward tier that we're really not planning to have to be an annual membership. But one of the things that we are planning to do to create extra value in this, and whether that's a membership, maybe we should just make it be a membership aspect just to keep things more consistent. I'm thinking that we should, because the opportunity to continue to improve upon this, and then so we'll see. I don't expect there to be a huge need for people to go through an onboarding workshop, but who knows? Actually, I'm going to just leave that as is. So, and we'll provide, and this is one of the things that we really want to create a framework that allows contributors such as ourselves, Tyler and myself, and as we continue to expand our community, that other people, that will have a framework that really incentivizes people to host these Web3 onboarding workshops. But that's something that we don't really need to unpack now. That's just to maintain some sustainability and scalability within what we're doing. And the DAO member NFT, I didn't really break down the aspects of this, but we've got that on another page here in Notion. So just to bounce down to the marketing strategy, I already talked about the video. This is something that is optional within the Kickstarter, but like I think that they say that 80% of projects have that, and that's absolutely something that we're planning on incorporating into our project. Also wanting to do a blog post and likely create a newsletter post for that as well. And that might be our first newsletter post, whether we commit to doing a weekly newsletter with this first one or not. The other thing, and Tyler and I already had some conversations surrounding doing a press release. So this is the one that I'm most excited about. I think really our affiliate marketing strategy is like the secret sauce in what we're building out here. And this is something that I'm really personally planning on being the poster child for our affiliate marketing strategy. And this is something I'm not quite sure why I put, let's see, I'm going to pull these up to here because these are really not related to the affiliate strategy. So we've already had an initial conversation or two with drivers.coop, who is launching Colorado here in Q1 of 2024. And Drivers Co-op is positioning themselves as a technology and cooperative platform that is an alternative option for Uber or Lyft. So whenever you want to order a ride, instead of using Uber or Lyft, you could use the Drivers Co-op app. And they've already got a good amount of traction. I think they have over 10,000 drivers supporting New York City. So that's something that we're really excited to hopefully have more conversations with Drivers Co-op as far as collaborating, because a lot of synergy with what we're doing here with Tesla Black. And we'll have more conversations as far as the online communities. So, but getting back to the affiliate marketing strategy, kickbooster.me seems like a fairly simple platform that, and I don't know what they've got behind the hood, but that's something that we'll unpack here this next week. And then after our Kickstarter campaign, we're really wanting to bring our affiliate program in-house onto our own WordPress and WooCommerce site. And this is something that did an initial outreach to see if we're a good fit for using and I don't know how to say this, SoCal, as a WordPress and WooCommerce solutions provider. Think of them as a dev team that would help set up our website and the framework for that. And that's something that is an optional consideration, but it's not something that as far as getting a solid theme, look and feel for a WordPress site that we have as far as an in-house experience. So the other thing that has to be in consideration, we already talked about the all or nothing, and then we still need to create workflows and or user journeys for whomever. So like you think about this Web3 onboarding workshop. So that's something that there will be a dynamic where there's going to be the scheduling of that and the coordination. So and that's something that will really work on getting a documented process as far as the fulfillment of our digital products here through our Kickstarter campaign. So anyway, I really covered all that we wanted to do here, Tyler. What else do you want to chime in here before we call this for a wrap here tonight?
I think this is a great start. I'm excited about all the stuff we're doing to move forward. And I don't know if you want to mention anything about the Community Innovation Prize or just leave that for next time. That was the only thing.
I mean, we've got a couple minutes. We can go through the process of actually creating the Let Us Meet, or I can just take that offline. And this is where, like, looking at our calendar for next week, really planning to have our concluding working group. And this is one of the things we will definitely know by our next working group on Monday or Tuesday here this next week. And looking at the calendar, let me go back to the calendar here. So here's the calendar. So Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll have our Community Energy Innovation Prize. And the deadline, and part of the reason that I put these on Monday and Wednesday is that may give us another opportunity to potentially do another working group on either Tuesday for finishing our Kickstarter, and potentially another working group for doing, but I can't remember what all that we've got. And that's one of the reasons that we love the Let Us Meet tool, because it provides that heat map where we can schedule the time based upon the most inclusive time for interested people to participate in that. But anyway, that was everything. We went through the agenda here, and I'm really excited about launching our Kickstarter. The rubber will really meet the road. I'm still operating from the belief that who knows? Like, the thing that's fabulous about a $7 is most people here in 2024 can drop $7, $10, $20 without too much consideration. So hopefully we'll create a compelling narrative where people are like, hey, that sounds amazing. I want to back this project. And that's where we really are hoping to go viral with what we're doing on Kickstarter with Gigs Go Green Phase 1 launching Tesla Black DAO. But anyway, you wanna bring any final thoughts here before we call it a wrap here tonight, Tyler?
Oh, great job. That's all I had to.
Alrighty, well, as always, thank you, everybody. Looking forward to bringing about positive impact here with Gigs Go Green for the primary benefit of gig workers. So we'll catch up on the next working group. If you are watching this on whatever, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can know whenever we've got our next video coming out.